What if Echo never got captured? Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka with a group of clones including Cody, Rex, Fives, and Echo infiltrated the Citadel, rescued Jedi Master Even Pill and Captain Tarkin. They managed to find them and rescue them, then fight their way out and get to the landing platform where the shuttle is. But are located by the droids and a skirmish ensues. When a command droid mans a turret, Echo tries to get to the shuttle to use its cannons against the turret. However, the droid shoots the shuttle, causing a large explosion. As the shuttle explodes, Five sees Echo get launched, landing hard in the open. Ignoring everything, he runs over to his brother. Rex calls after him, ordering him back, but he doesn't care. Ahsoka runs after him after riding R2-D2, initially bringing him back, but instead covering him as he was already dragging Echo's body toward cover. They were able to shotgun him once there, and he's miraculously still alive, though missing a forearm. However, they don't know what internal injuries he may have. Some just want to leave him behind, saying that he could die at any moment and was literally dead weight. However, Anakin stood up for him, and it was decided that Fives, Rex, Anakin, and Ahsoka would take turns carrying him. They managed a fighting retreat as reinforcements arrived to distract them. They pass a buried alive Echo between them as they fight, but managed to get him to the selected rendezvous point. However, Master Even Peel was killed along the way, defending their retreat with Ahsoka. They are soon attracted via gunship, though, and Echo is taken straight away to the medical bay aboard the vendor. As soon as they are able to, Anakin and Ahsoka use the Twilight to ferry Echo to Kamino along with Fives, who refuses to leave his brother's side. The Kaminoans, however, refuse to do anything for him as he's deemed a lost cause. Not wanting to give up, Ahsoka suggests a Jedi Hall of Healing, and they get him there as fast as possible. The healers accept him and do what they can in treating and healing him, also setting aside a prosthetic forearm for him. It takes a bit for Echo to wake up, but once he does, the slow recovery process starts and he begins getting used to his new mechanical arm. Ahsoka helps him when she can, tinkering with the arm to make it more fluid and comfortable, having learned from Anakin his mechanical hand. He is still recovering and retraining when the invasion of Umbara commences, but he hears what happened from Fives afterwards as well as introducing him to Tup, a new friend. He's furious when he hears that Ahsoka is being suspected for bombing Jedi Temple, and after she is cleared, he's sad to hear that she refused to rejoin the Order and left. None of the men of the 501st got to say goodbye to her. The first major battle he was cleared to participate in was a battle for the space station over Ringo Vinda. Everything was going smoothly, just like a textbook operation, at least until old Tup started acting strangely, and then out of nowhere when he shot Jedi General Tip Lar. The ensuing shock and confusion forced the Republic forces to retreat, costing the battle. Echo sticks by Fives, who in turn stays by Tup. They try to figure out what happened, but they can't find anything wrong with Tup. Seeing as he appears stable, they arrange for Tup to go to Kamino. However, the Separatists ambush a shuttle carrying him, capturing him. Echo, Fives, Rex, and Anakin get him back using their Panther Fives, using gravity guns to get to the shuttle before commandeering it and using it to quickly get Tup to Kamino, as his condition had deteriorated. Once there, Fives requests to stay with Tup, and subsequently Echo stays as well. Though they are separated as since Fives and Tup had been close during the entire battle, they suspect that he could be affected with whatever was affecting Tup as well, though Echo is free as he had been close to Anakin during that battle. Fives is persistent in finding out what was wrong and saving Tup, and it is Echo, who kept on visiting him, that kept him from doing anything brash. However, Fives sooner rather than later acts, and after convincing a medical droid, he finds a tumor in Tup and removes it, only for Tup to die soon afterward. He tries to continue with the investigation, but Echo convinces him not to, at least for now, as both the Kaminoans and Shaak Ti were keen on listening to him. Tup was already gone, and Kamino wasn't safe as it appeared they were trying to hide the truth and what the tumor really was. Fives relents and quietly leaves, though Nala stays a bit suspicious. She can't warrant killing him or informing Darth Tyrannus, as she mostly believes that he was just down after losing his friend. After a few weeks, they take Rex aside and tell him what they know so far and inform him that they are going to continue investigating. Rex relents, knowing that there was nothing he could do to stop them, but requests to participate. They start with checking to see if more clones had these tumors, and Fives volunteers to be first. With the help of Kix, they scan his brain and indeed find one, which Fives insists they remove, ignoring that it could kill him. It is successfully removed, and after examining it, they find it to be a biological chip. They look into it and find orders embedded into it. After discussing what this could mean, along with Tup's behavior, they come to the conclusion that the chip must force a clone to obey if an order is activated. To further study it, Rex finds several volunteers that have their chips removed, with Fives being put in charge of them. It is to see any mental or emotional changes in them. After a couple weeks, with Kix checking on them daily, Kix reports his findings. They don't appear to be any different, disproving Nalisa's claim that the chip was made for them to be more docile. However, one interesting thing that happened was something that only the clones knew, something that had been forever part of their lives. Their nightmares that they had every night were gone. Rex will also investigate chips with the help of Echo, looking through all the contingency orders, and discreetly asking some Jedi Senators about them, seeing if they knew about them. None did, making the chip seem pointless. If the people who could activate the orders didn't know they existed, then why were they in the clones? It was also cause for concern that when one malfunctioned, it triggered Order 66, killing a Jedi, and not any of the other orders. Knowing that and hearing that removing the chip not only didn't change the clone, but also got rid of their nightmares that plagued them, Rex orders for the entire 501st to remove their chips. He tries to bring up the chips with Anakin, but he brushes it off, stating that the Kaminoans had already closed our investigation, and the Chancellor and Jedi agree with their findings. Rex didn't try again, instead going to Cody, Wolf, and other commanders and telling them of the chips, as well as what Anakin had said, that Jedi trusted the Kaminoans and were going to listen. The commanders agreed that they should remove the chips, but Fives and Echo were way ahead of them. They had discreetly spread word of the chips through the clone ranks, saying that it would turn the clone into an unthinking droid, and it was the cause of the nightmares, and by removing it, there was no ramifications. Clone troopers started to have their chips removed, both by battalion level and individually. Several months passed and the number of clones without chips continued to grow, and they were miraculously able to keep it a secret from both the Kaminoans and most of the Jedi. When Ahsoka appears to request support to retake Mandalore, Fives and Echo are ecstatic, happy that she is back with the company. However, his hopes are almost dashed when they are recalled to Coruscant as it was under attack. But thankfully, Anakin promotes Captain Rex to a commander, and sends him commanding Touring Company with Ahsoka to Mandalore. Fives and Echo volunteer to accompany them. The fight is brutal, the Mandalorians being their toughest adversary yet, but both Fives and Echo give tactical advice, and both Ahsoka and Rex listen. Even though Ahsoka was a civilian now, and protested, Rex and the rest of the clones had defaulted to her being in command, and she soon relented. Thanks to their advice and the eager leadership of Ahsoka, not that many clones are killed in the battle. After Ahsoka fights and captures Maul, she informs the council before Rex, Fives, and Echo take her aside. They agree to tell her about the chips, hopeful since she is no longer a Jedi that she would listen and give advice as to what to do next. She is shocked by the news, but one of the first things she asks if they had told the Jedi. Rex says they had tried to tell Anakin, but he wouldn't listen and hasn't tried since. He knows other troopers have tried as well, but nothing seems to have come of it. Combined with what Maul had told her, what she had overheard from the council before she walked in, with what Dooku had told Kenobi before the war, and now what Rex had just said about the chips and Order 66 in particular, she comes to a conclusion, and she regrets not telling Master Yoda what Maul had said. She asks Rex how many clone troopers have had their chips removed, but he doesn't know for certain. She rushes back to the communication room and reaches out to Master Yoda again. He picks up, and she apologizes but quickly tells him about the clones and what Maul had said about Anakin. Master Yoda, even knowing everything, is hesitant to act, not sure if there's anything that can be done. She doesn't waste her time and ends the call. She next reaches out to several Jedi Masters that she knew, among them being Shaak Ti, Plo Koon, and Aayla Secura. She also brings Rex, Fives, and Echo in to share their information and their testimony. The Jedi Masters all surprisingly answer, and she explains everything that she knows, not leaving anything out. Then the troopers follow what they found out. The Jedi are all shocked, but unlike Yoda, they want to do something. They need to warn the Jedi across the galaxy. However, in order to reach out to all Jedi at once, they need someone to do it from the Jedi Temple. They all knew that Master Windu wouldn't listen without Master Yoda agreeing, and even though Shaak Ti was in the temple, she couldn't do anything with Windu there. Though they might be able to convince Sindralik to shut down the temple, at least temporarily. However, Shaak Ti is interrupted by a Jedi informing her that Master Windu and 3 other Masters were leaving to confront Chancellor Palpatine. Shaak Ti takes action, quickly ending the communication and summoning Sindralik as she makes her way to the communication center. Once he reaches her, she orders for the temple to be locked down, explaining that the clones could turn on the Jedi, and there is a good chance there is a Sith Lord on Coruscant. He complies, and she then has Jocasta New help her write a communication to send all the Jedi, warning them of the threat and ordering them to disengage and hide. Anakin, noticing something is amiss, asking if the form that the temple is being locked down. He rushes to the hangars and manages to make it out before they could ground his ship. Coincidentally, he makes it to Palpatine's office as the duel is ongoing, and he sees the threat Palpatine is. Palpatine notices him and tells him to join him, that he could save the one he loved. However, Anakin remembers Echo and what the Jedi Halls of Healing had done for him. Palpatine senses Anakin hesitate and lashes out. Windu and Anakin have to team up to survive the onslaught, but they soon impress Palpatine. He can't defeat Windu, and Anakin is just making things harder, so he jumps out the window. Master Windu and Anakin attempt to chase him, but quickly lose him as darkness descends on Coruscant. As soon as he is able, Palpatine issues Order 66. Several clones are taken up in the order, having not removed their chips, but others who had removed their chips have not looked at them, don't know what Order 66 is, and thus just end the call confused. When Rex gets the order, they are still on Mandalore trying to both organize their departure, find out which clones had their chips removed, and which Jedi were safe or needed help. He informs Ahsoka and she goes to Bo-Katan to tell her for a fact that the Republic was under the control of the Sith and asks for her support. Bo-Katan agrees and pledges her support on the condition that Mandalore not become a battlefield again. Clones that had their chips removed aren't completely sure what is going on as they soon have to defend their Jedi generals from their brothers, and the Jedi are wary too, both from the warnings sent by Shakti and coming true from the actions of the clones. Most just decide to run, leading their clone units and trying to return to the Jedi Temple, unless they had a better, safer place in mind. Other Jedi, those who were close to the men under their command, stayed with them and helped them subdue their brothers and finish the battles that they were in. Some even started investigating what was going on. Master Windu and Anakin go back to Chancellor's office before returning to the temple to collect their fallen council members. They are surprised to find Kit Fisto alive, and they quickly get him back to the Jedi Temple to get treated, bringing the other two confirmed dead masters. Master Windu starts assembling another group of Jedi to go after Palpatine. Once they are gathered, Windu goes on the hunt for Palpatine, this time letting Anakin come along, having more trust in him. Before they go, Shakti takes Anakin aside, asking if he would like to bring Padme to the temple to protect her. Ahsoka told her about their relationship and she was willing to help. Anakin gratefully, albeit embarrassingly, accepted, and Shakti personally had a small group of Jedi to retrieve Padme. They get her and lead her back to the temple, but she is confused and worried. Shakti brings her to her room before explaining things to her. Once she hears it, she asks if she can contact other senators so that they could possibly remove Chancellor Palpatine from office, stripping him of his power and influence, something that they were already planning on doing. Shakti agrees and waits patiently as she contacts several trusted senators that were loyal to the Jedi. Meanwhile, the hunt for Palpatine leads them all across Coruscant as they find his hideouts and lairs one after another. Sadly, the ranks are reinforced with more experienced Jedi such as Yoda, Deva Balaba, and Numenera Unduli. The search leads them to Padme's senator's apartment, which had been trashed. Worried, Anakin contacted Shakti, making sure that Padme was safe, which she confirmed. For once, he was thinking for the Jedi, especially the more compassionate ones. Continuing the search, they eventually believed that Palpatine had left Coruscant. During this time, Padme safely gave birth to a healthy pair of twins in the Jedi Halls of Healing. It was also around the same time that the petition of 2000 had voted to remove Chancellor Palpatine from office. With everything that was happening, it gained support and he was removed. An arrest order was put out for him and the search for him continued for the next couple of months, until he surfaced leading the remnants of the Separatist army. He would be in control of the galaxy, one way or another. The Republic started to reorganize themselves as they continued to wage war against the Separatists. Most of the Separatist worlds had surrendered as news reached that Chancellor Palpatine was controlling both sides, with Count Dooku being his apprentice. All that was left of the Separatist cause were the corporations and the ones that are loyal to Palpatine. Senators and military leaders in the Republic also defected to join Palpatine, those like Tarkin and Rampart. The Kaminoan facilities were also seized, as their involvement was investigated. Palpatine wreaked havoc across the galaxy, both using the droid army and Damask holding. He funded insurgencies, hired mercenaries and bounty hunters to kill political and military figures, and bought the loyalty of many who acted as spies and saboteurs. The Republic did fumble in the beginning of the new war, as Palpatine was no longer playing both sides, making the Separatists lose, but they quickly regained their footing as Jedi like Anakin Skywalker and admirals like Wolf Yularen led the charge. Ahsoka didn't yet rejoin the Order, but was considering as Yoda had stepped down from being Grand Master, admitting to his failures and hesitancy to act. Plo Koon was made the Grand Master in his place, and already there was a major change happening in the Order, with one of the first things being a new branch being created in order to focus primarily on war, from studying it to leading the troops. Only those within that branch were going to be permitted to participate in combat, as they were going to be trained to handle the death and destruction the dark side had wrought, though it was still being set up. The rest of the Order was mostly distancing itself from the Republic, except for a few other branches like diplomats. The new focus was going to be in the Outer Rim, helping rebuild and teach necessary skills to those that lived out there. or as those that wanted to isolate themselves and learn more about the Force. Though Ahsoka didn't rejoin the Order, she was offered the rank of general by the new Chancellor, Bail Organa, because of her previous service and show of skill, and she accepted it, now that an end of the war was in sight. She also missed the men of the Five First, and it was demonstrated that they missed her as well, voiced primarily by Echo 5s and Rex. As the new war dragged on, there was only so much Palpatine could do, as he lost world after world and ally after ally. It was also inevitable that he was back into a corner. He had seen to it that he was the last Sith, and now it was coming back to haunt him. He refused to just disappear, spending the rest of his life in hiding, so he staged a final confrontation, hoping to have another chance to turn Anakin to the dark side. He gathered the remaining droid armies and fleets and brought them to Korriban. He would either succeed in reviving the Sith, or they would disappear with him. The Republican Jedi, upon learning of where he was, assembled a massive fleet and set out to end the war. It consisted of over 1,000 ships, tens of thousands of clone troopers, and hundreds of Jedi. Ahsoka also brought along Bo-Katan and her Mandalorians to help. What awaited them were millions of droids, and a fleet that outnumbered them 3-1. The space battle waged for days before an opening appeared to allow a planetary invasion. However, before that happened, since the planet was that of the Sith and mostly uninhabited, they orderly bombarded areas that had large, massive droids, with the bombers hitting areas with less concentration. Palpatine was not only a military commander and didn't know how to properly lead an army, so droids were assembled in the open around the fortress that he took up residence in, thus allowing most of them to be easily destroyed. However, there were still vast quantities that survived, and when the troopers and Jedi got planetside, a fierce and brutal battle began. They had to fight for every inch, but since Palpatine had all but placed the beacons where he was, they only fought towards him, allowing air support to deal with the rest of the droids. After a few days, they would ride out the fortress, and a large Jedi strike team assembled to enter it. It was led by the new Grand Master Plo Koon, along with Mace Windu, with almost every council member, even including Yoda, as well as Anakin and a dozen more Masters and Knights. Ahsoka could have gone along, but she opted to stay with the Five First and lead them. The Jedi strike team encountered Palpatine in the main chamber of the fortress, and a bloody fight ensued. Several Jedi were killed or maimed, all of them being distracted with the overwhelming presence of the dark side that seeped from the planet in this fortress. Palpatine, on the other hand, thrived in it. Palpatine could feel the dark side affecting the Jedi, including Skywalker. So when Skywalker dropped to one knee, hand to his head, Palpatine was swept up in victory. However, it was just an act as Anakin jumped at him, swinging his lightsaber. Palpatine dodged it, still believing that this was victory and it was Anakin's last desperate attempt, but a strike from behind made him realize that he had been preoccupied with Skywalker, allowing Mace Windu to attack him from behind. Palpatine was dead before he hit the ground, and Mace stood over him a moment before congratulating Anakin on his unorthodox plan. The Jedi strike team quickly left the fortress, helping their injured comrades and carrying their dead. They also brought Palpatine's body as proof that he was dead, and that the galaxy could finally be at peace. Before they completely left Korriban, they made sure to completely destroy every last battle droid and ship, though most of the Jedi left early as well as the fleet once the Separatist fleet had been destroyed. Almost 2 months later was when the last Jedi and clone troopers, those being Ahsoka, Rex, Fives, and Echo, left the planet with the band of Mandalorians that had become loyal to Ahsoka. They were eager to get off the Forsaken planet and see how the galaxy was changing. And the galaxy did change, with a more decentralized government, taxes being used in the sectors that paid them, and clone troopers to defend the innocent. Anakin was planning to leave the Jedi Order to be with his family, but Plo Koon had gone rid of the attachment rule, allowing Jedi to form bonds. They needed something to live and fight for, and as long as it was a healthy bond, then it would only strengthen the Jedi. So Anakin stayed within the Order, and it was with this that Ahsoka was rejoined. As soon as she did, Anakin was made a master and she a knight, and she also took a student of her own that she saw potential in, one who she was surprised didn't have a master yet, a Thulian that she had escorted to the gathering for a kyber crystal. Katuni was excited to have a teacher, even more so that it was Ahsoka. Over the next several years, they hopped from planet to planet, helping everyone that needed it as Ahsoka trained Katuni with everything that she had learned. Fives and Echo usually accompanied them, and now that their acceleration was stopped because of the Kaminoans, who were still trying to escape punishment, they could enjoy their lives as they got a tour of the galaxy at peace with Ahsoka and Katuni. Time seemed to fly as soon as Katuni was ready to become a knight. After a knight trial and knighting ceremony, Ahsoka was granted the rank of Master and joined Anakin on the High Council of the reorganized Jedi Order.